Hi, I'm Dave from TRC. Welcome to our Heat Pump Boss series, Level Up Your Heat Pump Installs. We've got the tools, tips, and how-tos that will help make you an expert heat pump installer. Today, we're going to focus on how to do takeoffs, mechanical systems. Let's dive right in. For a manual J load calculation, installation levels and window details dictate how much heat is lost across the envelope. We also need to provide data to calculate heat losses and heat gains from the home's mechanical system: heating, cooling, and ventilation. Let's walk through what information matters and why. We'll start with mechanical systems. First off, for load calculations, we're looking at building level systems that are on continuously, or are using a timer. We don't capture spot ventilation from bathroom fans, kitchen hood fans, or whole home fans. Our goal is to determine how much air, and therefore heat, will consistently be leaving the house during design conditions. We don't assume that the occupants are firing up their spot fans all the time. Many homes don't have building level mechanical ventilations, so often this entry is blank. But for those that do, we want to capture the average continuous airflow rate, and we want to capture the efficiency in any form of heat or energy recovery. There are three forms of ventilation: exhaust only, supply only, and balanced. Exhaust only systems are the most common. You can identify them by finding either the control switch or by looking at the various exhaust vents on the outside of the house and eliminating those that are just for spot ventilation or the closed dryer. Supply-only systems are rare. Most of the ones you might see feed into the home's duct system, called a Central Fan Integrated Supply System, or SFIS. You should look for these by inspecting the HVAC ducts. An SFIS will have a duct that leads from the outside to the return plenum, typically with a motorized damper. You should also be able to see the intake vent from the outside. Finally, we have a balanced ventilation system. Most will have their own network of ducts and fans, typically smaller diameter and not cover as many rooms as HVAC ducts. Some might be integrated into the HVAC ductwork at the return plenum. In these cases, though, instead of having a single duct providing supply air, there will also be an exhaust duct leaving the return plenum first. Integrated balanced ventilation is quite rare, though. After you've identified the ventilation type, we need two data points about it. First, what is the average continuous airflow rate in CFM? That's typically between 50 and 100 CFM. Some with more powerful fans might be programmed to run on and off on a cycle to reach that average. If you can't get the actual rate, using manual J defaults for the number of occupants and size of the home is going to be a valid input. Second, and this only applies to balanced systems, you need to document the recovery efficiency rate. This is typically between 65 and 90%. You can see the rate on the unit's nameplate, or by looking up the unit based on its model number. If you can't find it, a default of 75% is likely sufficient. Moving off of ventilation and over the HVAC distribution systems. Ducts and hydronic piping, when routed outside of the conditioned space, lose heating to those spaces before the heat gets where it belongs. This means you need to have extra heating available from the furnace or boiler. The reverse happens for cooling with ducts. Such unconditioned spaces might include attics, knee walls, basements, or crawl spaces, any space outside the thermal envelope you defined when gathering insulation values. A detailed calculation of this heat loss is difficult. Typically some of the ducts are in the house, some outside. There are all sorts of trunks and branches for various surface areas. Thankfully, Manual J doesn't require that detail. It does most of the math based on built-in assumptions. Your job for the takeoff is simple. Ask yourself, are there ducts or hydronic heating pipes in unconditioned space? And if so, what level of insulation do they have? With ducts, there's also duct leakage. If you have that data from a duct blaster result, you can use it for better specificity. But using the Manual J platform's default assumptions on duct leakage should be sufficient in most cases. The key data for Manual J is just confirming that there will be losses to unconditioned space at all. If you're installing all ductless heat pumps, make sure the reality is represented in the load calculation. Thanks for diving in with us on how to do takeoffs, mechanical systems. Remember, we're here for you at cleanheatconnect.ny.gov with more videos, resources, guides, and best practices. Hope to see you in our other sessions as we complete better installations together, one project at a time.